To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay. At this time, any person with business before the court not scheduled on the agenda may speak to the court. No formal action will be taken on these items at this meeting. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes.
I have something real quick.
Okay.
Because it's not on the agenda, but we have, due to the CBD-19, the outside auditors are supposed to be here this week. They are probably not going to come. They're all working remotely from home. But if I sent you an email that had a list of things on there that didn't upload, please try to upload everything as possible on there because they really don't want to even come on site except for maybe one day. And she's already called me today. If you aren't sure how to work it, if you'll do like Melody, put it on a flash drive and bring it to me, I'll upload it on there. But we need to get everything uploaded as soon as possible so they can get going on that.
Okay, sounds good. This isn't on the agenda either, but as of right now, there are 0 cases in Scurry County.
Yay.
So, all right, inter-precinct project schedule and staffing?
Terry stole one of my guys.
Yeah.
Heard about that.
I could dry it out.
So you have a position open.
Who's lecture?
Leon. Junior. Dry it out.
Try it out.
Yeah.
So
We
you
started
can
this
lay.
morning.
Yeah, we did too. They're self-quarantined inside the maintainers.
Yeah, that'll work.
That works. All right, court can discuss and consider extending and continuing or renewing the declaration of disaster for Scurry County executed on March 16th, 2020 for a period of no more than 30 days pursuant to Texas Government Code 418.108. As you know, last Monday after our meeting, I did declare a disaster, more of a preventative measure than anything. The wording, I don't believe, has changed in that. We just need to look at extending it, and we would extend it for until April 14th. If you want to do that.
I make the motion that we extend it because anything we can do.
Second. Yeah, third.
All in favor? That sounded like a vote right there. All right.
Take a drink out of the field.
I'm sorry.
I said, I'm gonna take a drink out of the field.
All right, court to discuss and consider personnel policies and procedures for emergency event pay policy. All right, so you should have a copy of the new one here. There are some changes that look like it need to be made. All right, so in the local policy on the first page.
That's it.
No, that's a different one. It's actually
Personal
There should
policy
be a-
procedures.
right there.
That one.
Personnel policies. And it should be in your packet there. It's stapled. It says personnel policies and procedures, emergency event pay policy.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the old one, it says, in the first paragraph, county judge or commissioner's court. That's been changed, if you agree to the changes, to add mayor and governor. That way, if the mayor declares one and we don't, it's just inside the city limits, we'll still follow this policy. And then over a little further back in D, this actually is in both D and E. In the old one, it says, when key essential exempt employees are required to reside in the city or county emergency operations center. All right, and so what this is talking about is, in this policy, it says that if they have to stay in the emergency operations center, any of our key non-hourly employees, they get overtime. Okay, but it only says if they stay in the emergency operations center. with this type of situation, they're not gonna be staying in the emergency operations center. They're gonna be, doing a whole lot more. And this just changes it to say during declared emergency status, the exempt employees shall receive their regular salary except during the emergency period. And then they'll go to an hour and a half, time and a half type situation. So, over the last few weeks, y'all have been putting in more than regular hours, more than you normally do in this situation. And this would be, any of our emergency services and like our health unit.
So you make sure that that all is documented on there as
Mhm.
what the, like, CV, COVID-19 or whatever, so that when FEMA questions it or anything, then we have all the documentation.
Right.
Which I know that Jason's already doing all that, so.
So there's a couple of places in here, in D and E, where it basically changes that, to show that it would be during the disaster declaration, that they wouldn't necessarily have to stay in the emergency operations center, just, once it's declared, that's when they start getting and I would say to make it,
Okay, I mean, any kind of emergency wouldn't involve the hands out here.
good,
Oh,
but
good, absolutely.
it could.
That's what I'm asking.
Right.
Should we go ahead and put it in?
Well, it already covers
Oh, it
the
already covers.
hourly employees.
Okay.
This would be like your department heads
That's what I'm
who get salary.
Yeah.
So it would it changes them from salary to hourly,
Okay,
and they will be able to get overtime.
okay, so we say it's already done in there.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay. Also, in that, I gave you a sheet, it says COVID-19 virus. And these are, it's the following conditions or situations will prompt an emergency paid administrative leave without the use of sick time or vacation time. Basically, if you have an employee who's 60 plus or they have a chronic disease such as diabetes, heart disease, pulmonary disease, or have a compromised immune system, or they're pregnant, or the healthcare provider has requested alternatives to their current work locations, they'll be exempt from being at work. It's not mandatory, but it's voluntary. If they don't apply to the county employee, then up to the elected official or department head to determine the validity of the reason for emergency paid administrative leave. So if they have young children to care for at home or due to school and daycare closings, or a member of the employee's household is sick with the COVID-19 related symptoms and they need to provide care, and the elected official or department head has directed the employee to stay home, the employee has received confirmed exposure, which we haven't yet, or if they're feeling sick with any of the main COVID-19 symptoms, that each department head can do that on a case-by-case situation. And then if they display symptoms, they must seek medical attention and stay home for up to 14 calendar days. And then this would cover if someone is sick or needs to be home, or to prevent them from, if they fit one of these categories that is the high risk categories, and that would include the kids, then they would be paid up to whatever time that they need to be at home.
No,
Without using sick time or vacation time. It would not go against their sick time or vacation time.
Cause all this,
Excuse me, go ahead.
take that one, all this is gonna be reimbursed by FEMA.
Correct.
Right. We just need to make that clear.
Correct. Yeah, if that situation rises.
Right.
we would
How
have
old
to.
that kid be?
Okay. Includes but not limited to having to stay at home to care for young children due to school and daycare closings. Or if you have a family member that's. Also in all of this, we are gonna see some overtime. Switching lanes, going back to the other one. We will see some overtime. Dr. Cooper has, he's basically requiring, since he's the, over the health unit, the doctor at the health unit, he's requiring 24/7 on call for the health unit. I'm not expecting the department head there to do 24/7 on call for the duration of this. So what they're looking at is having someone on call each week. And so if they get called out, if they get a call, someone will have the phone and they'll get called. If they get called, they're gonna answer the phone and not gonna, if it's after hours, I don't think they need to be compensated for that. So you're gonna see some overtime there. You could probably see some overtime at EMS as well, and possibly some other departments.
Mhm.
So,
Well, I don't know why we wouldn't do this, any of it. It's just because we could keep this out of our county and support the people in the county and it works for the county. Because it's all gonna go away. We just gotta be patient till it gets there
Absolutely.
mhm.
and do what we can. And I think all this is a very good idea for everybody involved. So I'll make a motion, we all
Hold
approve.
it a second.
Okay.
Okay, like the EMS,
Mhm.
and who's ever involved,
Mhm.
is, it can't be some way programmed that one of the girls kind of work it around unless that it's just comes on us like a flood over the.
Yeah, last week I put out, an email that if you have non-essential personnel, you can go ahead and send them home and they will be covered. They will still get paid.
But then, if they done that, what I'm talking about, if it was something that's not great big,
Mhm.
then that's when they could trade off and it wouldn't be you working your butt off.
Right.
We can kind of switch out, in other words, what I'm saying.
Yeah, like a
Is
couple
that-
work for a couple of days and
Yeah,
someone else
right,
work
right.
for a couple of days and
Right.
then they would be,
That'll be left up to the boss.
that would be left up
Yeah,
to.
okay, that's good, okay.
All right, and we've got a motion.
Second.
There's a second, okay. And, tax office is closing, correct?
Yes, to the
Okay.
public, we will.
Okay, closing to the public. We're not gonna close the county down to the public other than what's already been closed and unless, the department head makes the decision to do that. We're gonna leave that up to each one. Y'all take money in the treasurer's office. Do you know if you wanna close that to taking payments?
I'll have to talk to Nelda and see where she's at on that.
Okay. If y'all decide to do that, let me know. We'll put it out there for the public and we'll have to get a hold of those out there at Harmony to let them know
Right.
payments are gonna be. Okay.
Can there be, I don't know if this actually falls under this, enforcement of any of this stuff, like, okay, because the governor imposed, he no more than 10 together and,
Mhm.
well, the game rooms are still open
Mhm.
and the parking lots are packed full. I mean, I understand the grocery store and Walmart, but people aren't really taking it seriously because when I went to Walmart, I went by myself, got the things I needed to have, but there was like socialization hour in the middle of the
Sure.
Walmart aisles. And like, seriously, people,
Yeah.
and all close up on each other. It's like,
Yeah, situations like that, there's not much.
but what about the game rooms?
Game rooms,
Because
that,
if restaurants can't have in-house dining,
Mhm.
how can the game rooms stay open?
I think that has been discussed on the listserv, and I don't think I think they can make recommendations, but I don't know that they can. I don't think there's an enforcement action against them if they say we're not gonna close. I don't think there's a penalty.
Unless there's a
I
stay
think
at home
state
issue.
Governor Abbott today was supposed to close all non-essential offices.
Okay,
In
I
his
don't,
press
that's
conference.
not been done yet.
right,
But it's been talked about.
right.
I know that Harris
That he
County
was-
did Harris County and Dallas County, they're the shelter in place
Right.
now.
Louisiana
And-
is total shelter
Yeah,
in place
New
till
York,
April 13th.
New Jersey,
Yeah.
several actual full
There's
states
Full states.
Sure.
are shelter in place. Luckily, I mean, thankfully, we're blessed that we haven't had a case here, but last I knew, there was 11 cases in Lubbock,
13.
13 now. So, and 7 have died in Texas. So this is a matter of time, but
I
I mean, I
understand that.
understand our hands are tied, but
And
it's very infuriating to see this.
And without that, I don't want to get to the point unless we need to. If we get to the point we need to, then yes. But at this point, I don't see, without even having a case in Scurry County, that we need to do a shelter in place or push that far. And we're doing some preventative stuff now as much as we can, but, I think there are over 200, or there's about 200 counties, as the governor mentioned the other day, that
That weren't
don't
yesterday.
have a case
Mhm.
in their counties. And so it's not this is one of those great examples of one size does not fit all. And I hope the legislature learns some of that.
You know, I understand that, but at the same time, we have people coming from all over
Mhm.
to our town buying up groceries and doing
Mhm.
stuff. So if you have somebody coming from one of those towns, you know, who knows that
Sure.
if they're not infected and infected people here, just because we don't have it in Scurry County, doesn't mean that we don't have all these people
No,
coming
I
from
understand
Well,
that.
everywhere here.
And we,
because-
it will
I mean,
come. I
it's-
think it will come to Scurry County.
I mean, we don't have to do necessarily a shelter in place, but would it hurt? Would it not be a little helpful to like contact them and say, hey, restaurants are stepping up and they've closed their in-room dining. They're
Wouldn't that
doing
be
all
the-
this.
The city,
Game rooms can't really.
Well, it would be the cities, I guess,
Yeah,
or
it would
the,
be the police department or sheriff department.
Well, I texted
Oh.
the sheriff this week. I texted the sheriff and asked him, and he's like,
it'd be the
well, we
city
really
council.
can't enforce that right now.
to fulfill.
But
Right. And
Well,
that's
it's
the thing.
mandatory.
There's no enforcement on it. So there's no penalty for it. I mean, you can make the suggestion, but if they tell you to jump in the lake, not much you can do about it.
jump in the
they
lake.
tell me to jump in. They won't like my response.
All right, I understand. So, okay, so, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of accepting these? Line item transfers and budget amendments.
I forgot I had some.
Just trying to figure out which lake he's gonna jump in.
No, that's not what I was figuring. I only have one line item transfer. It is for, precinct 3. Into capital outlay, 5,000 plus for 11841 out of fuel and oil. John Deere
Gator.
Gator for, no, I
You
don't
want me
know
to
what
read
it
it?
says. Yes, please.
You ready to read your?
Sprayer, you've been using the parks?
We've been using the park and they wanted it back. So,
I deciphered it after a little. That's okay. You write like I.
Okay,
One time.
and that's the only one?
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
that's the only unlegible one.
We'll give you a Word copy so you can type it in.
I wouldn't know what to do. I write faster, not type.
That is very true. He's not lying. That's why Carol typed everything for him.
Really?
Okay, do we have a motion at all on? Do we want to approve this?
I make a motion that we approve line transfer. It's illegible.
Second, all in favor?
Oh, it's nice.
I do have some
Loved it.
payables.
I'm sorry, you
I
do
have
have?
payables.
Yeah, go ahead then with
Okay.
accounts payable.
122,614.20.
I make a motion, we pay the bill.
Oh, second.
All in favor? Okay,
Sure, you get in there and you just want to do it, so I will.
there's a motion to adjourn.
There you
You know, it says adjourn, it doesn't say consider, so we could probably just adjourn.
But I think at the very front of the agenda, it does say.
Okay, all right, all in
Okay,
favor?
so who made the motion to adjourn? Terry.
Quietly.
Thank
Sean,
y'all
did you
for an
second
enjoyable
it?
meeting.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it, y'all. Jana, if you'll send me for the tax office, the information on that, so I can post it on our Facebook page and I'll have.
I don't know,
up there and
I
post
thought
it on the
about going
website, too.
down and
Okay.
just maybe a couple of days a week,
I don't remember who was the other one.
closing to,
Oh,
Tuesday,
she
third,
was talking
only
about
to over here,
find out
open it,
from
but I don't know if
the-
that's really gonna serve any purpose.
Right, yeah.
It's either you are here or you're not.
Right.
So,
Y'all have plenty to do, I'm sure.
oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
I loaded Team Viewer on my computer at home yesterday, just in case I didn't get to come back today.
Right.
I could work from
Got
home.
some, training modules that we're gonna start. Where we can sit and do the training modules without having interruption.
Right, yeah, I need to do that.
Very good.
What's that other thing we've got to do? That online security training
Yeah,
thing.
we did that.
I haven't done that one yet, so I guess that's a good time to do that one. And they did move the runoff to July 14th.
Heard that.
So
Who's gonna run them?
the Democrats, we have 2 races in the Democrats statewide, so it's going to be like,
Is that between the shim and the him?
I guess, no. Yeah, still on.
I messed up.
Nope.
Ellie, can I get a copy of that? Okay.
Well, I gotta catch the judge. He's gotta sign it. I don't,
Oh,
are you good?
emergency declaration.
That? Yeah. Him runned off. And then I gotta sign that one. Is there anything else? Is that all?
That's it.
Okay. Yep.
With the money we have to work with, it's gonna look over there. But it's all fully covered. I got an email the other day that they updated the PO to cover the full amount. So I won't have to move any money anywhere. So, yeah.
You gonna send me a bill this month?
You're supposed to get a month. You're supposed to get one every month. You didn't get one yet?
Yeah. Oh, no, not.
Yeah. Okay.
If I'm here. Okay.